Donald Trump just posted on Truth Social. Later today, I'll be meeting with, of all people, Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor of The Atlantic and the person responsible for many fictional stories about me, including the made-up hoax on suckers and losers and Signalgate. Trump went on to say that Goldberg is writing a news story that is titled The Most Consequential President of the Century. And he's taking the interview out of curiosity just to see if it's possible for The Atlantic to be truthful. Are they capable of writing a fair story on Trump? Well, the way I look at it, what can be so bad? I won. All right, here to break it down for us is our panel, former National Press Secretary for the Trump campaign and the former Principal Deputy Press Secretary at the White House, Hogan Gidley. We are also joined by the Editor-in-Chief of National Memo, Joe Conason. Gentlemen, welcome. All right, Hogan, take this one for us. What do you think about Trump's his truth there, and what do you think about The Atlantic doing a story on him?
Well, he's always so good in these rooms with people one-on-one. You heard Bill Maher talk about it a little bit at the dinner they had together as well. Everyone who knows him understands how charming he can be behind closed doors. He's good in public, I would argue, but many people disagree. But get him one-on-one, he really does shine. However, he also is keenly aware of the fact that these entities, these outlets are out to get him for the most part. And no matter how many times he sits down and breaks bread, how many times he lets them in the Oval Office to have a conversation, they always end up screwing him over at some point. But in the spirit of unity and trying to get together, why not? Sit down and see what happens. If The Atlantic burns Donald Trump again, I expect them, though, to be on the outs for quite some time and get no access.
Yeah, Joe, Trump truthed out there, do you think The Atlantic can be truthful?
I think The Atlantic has been truthful. I don't think there's any reason to disbelieve either of the stories that President Trump cited. They've been backed up by former staff to Trump, and in the case of Signalgate, it's very clear what happened. It's not a hoax, it's true, and not only that, it's been confirmed by a second Signalgate story. So I'm not concerned with The Atlantic's credibility in any of this. It's pretty obvious where the credibility problem lies.
Yeah, I want to pivot now. Democrats in Colorado are pushing a radical pro-illegal bill that would prohibit police from detaining, arresting, or holding illegals, even if they are the subject of an immigration enforcement operation or have an ICE detainer request. So, Hogan, why are Democrats so intent on protecting illegal immigrants?
Insane, and I do not know why. This is one of the most egregious instances of political malfeasance, political stupidity I've seen in my 25 years, 30 years in politics. For the life of me, I can't understand why they would side, not with the families who've experienced murders and rapes, assaults, burglaries, but instead stand with those who are committing these evil, heinous crimes against American citizens. Yes, they're in our country illegally, and they have the right to be deported instantaneously. But furthermore, when you see people that are in violent gangs, have MS-13 tattoos, have been determined to be a danger or a threat to our society, why Democrats would use taxpayer dollars, fly to their defense, and tout these people as opposed to the victims of the crime, I'll never know.
Joe, how do you see it?
Well, I think everything that was just said is itself a hoax. There's no Democrat who opposes deporting violent criminals from this country that I know of. I've never seen any say that. I've never seen any Democrat oppose that.
They're down there trying to get them back, Joe.
What I have seen...
They're trying to get them back into this country. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about somebody who was not shown to have committed any violent crime, no matter how many lies the White House has told about him. He has some tattoo, and I don't think that's a reason to deport any... Excuse me?
His wife testified he beat her.
Am I going to get to answer the question, or are you going to answer it for me?
Well, if you're going to tell me what I'm saying is a hoax, you're going to have to defend it. You don't get to just gloss over what I'm saying as if it's not true when his own wife said he beat her.
It is untrue. There's no evidence that Abrego Garcia is a violent criminal whatsoever. None.
Perfect.
No credible evidence anyway. And in fact, people who are not only not violent criminals, but U.S. citizens who have committed no crimes whatsoever are getting self-deportation notices from the government now. Why wouldn't Democrats take steps to prevent this incompetent government from maltreating its own citizens and people who have every right to be here under court orders?